Currently, Earth.
It was in 1876, on November 23rd, that William McGeer, Boss Tweed, leader of New York City's corrupt Tammany Hall political organization during the 1860s and early 1970s, is delivered to the authorities in New York City after his capture in Spain. William McGeer Tweed became a powerful figure in Tammany Hall, New York City's democratic political machine, in the late 1850s. By the mid-1860s, he had risen to the top position in the organization and formed the Tweed Ring, which openly bought votes, encouraged judicial corruption, extracted millions from city contracts, and dominated New York City politics. The Tweed Ring reached its peak of fraudulence in 1871 with the remodeling of the city courthouse, a blatant embezzlement of city funds that was exposed by the New York Times. Tweed and his flunkies hoped the criticism would blow over, but thanks to the efforts of opponents such as Harper's Weekly political cartoonist Thomas Nast, who conducted a crusade against Tweed, virtually every Tammany Hall member was swept from power in the elections of November 1871. All the Tweed Ring were subsequently tried and sentenced to prison. Boss Tweed served time for forgery and larceny and other charges, but in 1875 escaped from prison and traveled to Cuba and Spain. In 1876, he was arrested by Spanish police, who reportedly recognized him from a famous Nash cartoon depiction. After Tweed's extradition to the United States, he was returned to prison, where he continued his eternity in 1878. It was November 23rd in the year 1940 that Romania signed the Tripartite Pact, officially allying itself with Germany, Italy, and Japan. As early as 1937, Romania had come under control of a fascist government that bore great resemblance to that of Germany's, including similar anti-Jewish laws. Romania's king, Carol II, dissolved the government a year later because of a failing economy and installed Romania's Orthodox Patriarch as prime minister. But the Patriarch's continuance of paternity and peasant uprising provoked renewed agitation by the fascist Iron Guard paramilitary organization, which sought to impose order. In June of 1940, the Soviet Union co-opted 2 Romanian provinces, and the king searched for an ally to help protect it and appease the far right within its own borders. So on July 5th in 1940, Romania allied itself with Nazi Germany, only to be invaded by its ally as part of Hitler's strategy to create one huge Eastern Front against the Soviet Union. King Carol abdicated on September 6, 1940, leaving the country in the control of fascist Prime Minister Ion Antonescu and the Iron Guard. Signing the Tripartite Pact was now inevitable. Originally formulated in Berlin on September 27th, the pact formally recognized an alliance between Germany, Italy, and Japan, termed the Axis. As more European nations became subject to fascist domination and invasion, they too were drawn into the pact, albeit as unequal partners. Hungary was made an Axis power on November 20th. Now it was Romania's turn. While Romania would recapture the territory lost to the Soviet Union when the Germans invaded Russia, it would also have to endure the Germans pillaging its resources as part of the Nazi war effort. Besides taking control of Romania's oil wells and installations, Hitler would help himself to Romania's food crops, causing a food shortage for native Romanians. It was November 23rd in the year 1981 that our 40th president, President Ronald Reagan, signs off on a top secret document, NSDD-17, or National Security Decision Directive 17, which gives the Central Intelligence Agency the power to recruit and support a 500-man force of Nicaraguan rebels to conduct covert actions against the leftist Sandinista regime in Nicaragua. A budget of $19 million was established for that purpose. NSDD-17 marked the beginning of official U.S. support for the so-called Contras in their struggle against the Sandinistas. The decision came several months after President Reagan directed the CIA to develop a plan to stop what his administration believed to be a serious flow of arms from Nicaragua rebels to rebels in neighboring El Salvador. The administration also believed that the Sandinista regime was merely a cat's paw for the Soviet Union. CIA officials subsequently set about securing pledges from Honduras to provide training bases in Argentina to give training to about 1,000 rebels. These would be in addition to the 500-man force trained and supplied by the CIA. Beyond the original goal of halting the flow of arms from Nicaragua, the task of the rebels were expanded to include spy missions and even paramilitary actions inside Nicaragua. News of the directive leaked out to the press in March of 1982, but Reagan administration officials quickly downplayed the significance of the action. They argued that the CIA plan was designed to support Nicaraguan moderates who opposed the Sandinista regime, not the disreputable former soldiers and allies of Anastasio Somoza, whom the Sandinistas overthrew in 1979. Deputy Director of the CIA, Admiral Bobby R. Inman, argued that the $19 million allocation provided little buying power for arms and other materials, saying that $19 million or $29 million isn't going to buy you much of any kind these days, and certainly not against that kind of military force. In the years to come, U.S. support for the Contras became a highly charged issue among the American public. Congressional and public criticisms of the program eventually drove the Reagan administration to subvert congressional bans on aid to the Contras. These actions resulted in what came to be known as the Iran-Contra scandal of 1986. Historic information divulged and documented on this audio file can be verified on history.com.